trying to be as quiet as possible, guys, so you can hear what I'm listening to. Go on then. Come on in, Edge, come. This is lovely. This is so nice. If you can look ahead of me where I'm going, you see the dappled light coming through the trees. The sun is out. It's very calm in here. There is a bit of a breeze outside the trees, but nothing much. I can hear some pigeons to my right hand side. And that's it. Nothing. No planes, no cars. I haven't met anybody this morning. Time wise, it's probably quite late now. Let me just check. Yes, it's 25 to 10 now, so we got here at 8 o'clock. So yeah, it's good. And it's cool, it's reasonably cool. It's not too hot at the moment. I don't know what the temperatures are supposed to get up to. I should probably imagine probably about 24, 25, somewhere around there. So it's going to be ideal for doing my fencing. Go on then, off you go. Come on, sit. Good boy. I think I should have left my denim jacket in the in the car, but I needed it to get down the first section of track because it was so overgrown with brambles hanging into the track that I'd probably cut my arms or stung myself. So maybe not a bad call, but I've got it tied around my waist anyway. We can pop it in the car when we get back. We're probably about a mile away from the car now, so we're not too far away. And if I spin around, you can see my little beagle heading the charge, heading off into the sunset, or sunrise in this case. And my little sooty's beside me. Come in then, Soot. Come on then. He's having a little sniff around. Go on, you tinker. There he goes. Right, I came into this walk the opposite end to what I usually do. So this time there's a pillbox that I usually have as my turnaround point. Well, that was almost my starting point. We're just coming up towards that now. We're probably about another 3/4 of a mile away from the car once we get to the pillbox, which is literally just up here. Go on then, off you go, guys. I haven't seen any deer this morning. I did see some deer the other day when I came out on my own, and there was 2 deer. One ran across the track. The second one, he was in the field to my right hand side, and he was just watching me for ages before he finally legged it. But it was lovely to see, really nice. There is an incident I'm going to tell you guys about, and this is quite a few years ago. I was out walking my 2 dogs. I didn't have these dogs at the time. I did have a Westie and a Scottie, but it wasn't these dogs. Now, yesterday I went to a place called Arga Fen. Well, I was on the same walk. I went to Arga Fen to do a walk with my 2 boys. We were in the section called Arga Fen itself, not Spouse's Vale. And I'd walked around, it was early in the morning, I was walking around this, it was a big site, a big woods, we were in amongst the trees, and I was following the edge of the nature reserve. There was a fence that ran around the outside, and there's a footpath just inside of that, and you could follow that footpath around, which is what I was doing. Really early in the morning, we were the only ones in the car park when I turned up. Don't touch Sooty. And I could hear this screaming this way, and it sounded like a baby, like maybe a mum had turned up with her young child and they were walking around and the baby was crying in the pushchair. It was that kind of scream, a baby scream. But the baby scream kept going on and on and on. And we were getting closer and closer to it. So I was half expecting to see a mum and a young child. Come on. But then my attention was drawn to a deer. Now, I was walking along this fence line, and to my left-hand side was a bank, all covered in trees. And at the top of the bank was a deer, and it was just stood there watching me. And as I carried on walking, it was going along the top of the bank, but staying level with me. I've never had that before. Usually when you see a deer, they just shoot off. But this one was actually following me. And I was still getting closer to this screaming. And like I said, it sounded like a baby crying, a human baby, just screaming out. And you all know when a baby cries, they've got that, there's a certain scream. You know when the child is distressed. There's different types of crying, and this was a different type of crying. And I thought, well, that's really strange. And still, I kept getting drawn to watching this deer on my left-hand side. Anyway, the fence line came to a 90-degree corner. It turned 90 degrees to my right, and the footpath went the same way. So I followed the footpath round to the right, and the deer followed me around on the bank, staying just at the top of the embankment, but watching me all the time. And it really had me glued to it. I've never ever had that happen before. So I'm just going to show you where we are, guys. You'll know exactly where we are as soon as I turn around, guys. There's that pillbox. So we're about 3/4 of a mile away from my car now. Come on in, let's go this way. Anyway, this deer just kept level with me, and I just kept staring at it, thinking it was a bit unusual for this situation. I've never had this happen. I've never had it happen since either. Anyway, I was paying more attention to the deer than I was where I was going. And all of a sudden, this way, guys, this scream, this baby scream, was literally right beside me. It was to my right-hand side, and I turned round to look, and the fence I'd been following was a wire fence, but it had big squares, probably 6-inch squares. And this baby deer had gone to climb through one of these squares, and it got itself wedged. It was stuck. It got its front legs through. Its back legs were hooked underneath the next square down. It got its back legs through there, and it had got the bit of wire across its stomach, and it was stuck. It was jammed. It couldn't come out. And that's what the screaming was. It was a baby deer. And my heart was pounding when I saw this thing. I thought, oh my God. So I had my boys on the leads. So I took my boys to one side, and I tethered them to the fence a little bit further up so they couldn't get in the way. And I went back to this little deer, and I unhooked its back legs. I pushed the back legs back through the fence from the way they'd come, and I lifted up its front legs and pushed it back through the fence. And this thing then, once it got through the fence, it turned around and it legged it across the field. And the deer that was up on the bank on my left-hand side, that ran down and followed it. And that was absolutely fabulous. And this is pre-cameras, pre-mobile phones, guys. It was that long ago. Oh, wow. What a fantastic thing to have done. And I wish I'd been able to film it, but it was a little baby deer, and that was what was making all that noise. Yes, it was something I'll never forget, and that was Arga Fen. And I've seen lots of deers at Arga Fen, lots and lots of deers, and I'd like to think that one of those deers is probably that one that I pushed back through the fence. A lovely thought. But yeah, I thought I'd run that one past you. Anyway, guys, I'm going to sign out now. I've been babbling now for 9 minutes. Right, I'll speak to you later. Bye-bye.